WWE Raw review for the October 20th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, it's cheers. Talk about some wrestling,
Yeah, Raw from Sacramento, the fallout of Division. What would we get? I mean, that storyline has been dominating the past week or so. Shocking turn, right? The Raw after Crown Jewel. So what would we get here?
What would we get here? Thank you guys for stopping by our live stream. It was absolutely great. YouTube.com/COD WrestlePod for Raw, SmackDowns, and PLEs. We'd love to have you there. But let's get into it because, as you said, big question ever since last Monday Night Raw is what the hell is going on with the Seth Rollins thing? The Vision? Is the injury real? What are we going to do? We kicked off Raw and answered all those questions. So we get to Raw. Adam Pearce is standing in the middle of the ring, but before he can say anything, we do have Braun and Bronson and Paul Heyman show up. Braun is wearing that title, which, man, just looking at him, that thing fits him. He looks like a champion, man. They walk all the way out to the ring, and Pearce says, I'm glad you guys are here, actually, because I do need to speak to you. He says he knew that Seth Rollins was injured, but what they did made him require surgery. And that surgery means that the championship has officially been stripped off of Seth Rollins. But that's okay, because tonight here we are going to decide the number one contender in a number one contender battle royale with a bunch of people, kind of everybody you wanted to know. And Pearce says, with that said, I need that belt back, Mr. Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker does not want to give him said belt back. And he says, how about you give me some respect and ask nicely? And Adam Pearce says, respectfully, please hand me the belt back. And Braun gets in this man's face and says, how about a please? And Adam Pearce begrudgingly does eventually say, respectfully, will you please give me the belt back? And Braun takes the belt and gives it to Paul Heyman, who then folds it up and hands it back to Adam Pearce. Pearce leaves, but we're not done. Paul Heyman grabs a mic, and he says, why is everybody so mad at us? We didn't do nothing. He brings up Unreal, which was kind of cool. He was like, what? Are we just trying to be the bad guys, make you guys boo us? So I do like them walking that line between reality and not. It's pretty good stuff. And he said, Vision actually had nothing to do with Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman didn't betray Roman Reigns. He didn't betray CM Punk to follow Seth Rollins. He betrayed them to see the future with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. He says the Vision over the Bloodline. He said Seth couldn't shoulder the load when it came to leading the Vision into the future, which was a Seth Rollins injury joke. He called him a bum-shouldered bitch. Not my words, Paul Heyman's words. He says, winner writes history, and these right here are the winners because they pulled the trigger. Oh, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw starts with a big, mic flip, they leave. Monday Night Raw starts with Seth Rollins' vacant title now being announced. We have a Battle Royale set, and the Vision are still the Vision, just without Seth Rollins. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this. I would say kind of like the best way to kind of handle this, I would say. Adam Pearce coming out and basically just saying, hey, like Seth needs surgery. I like the kind of angle like, hey, I knew he was hurt, but you guys took it to another level. I like that. I liked the teased Braun Breaker, Adam Pearce tension.
Yeah.
That's the biggest takeaway from this for me. Paul Heyman basically just cuts a nice promo on Seth Rollins. You're like, oh, okay, well, he had that one in the chamber. He had that one ready to go. But the Braun Breaker, Adam Pearce tension in terms of him not listening to authority unless it's kind of Paul Heyman. But even that's a little bit, he's kind of a loose cannon. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think this was the best case scenario. I like how Paul Heyman did come out and immediately he was like, yeah, I didn't want to be with Seth Rollins anyways. He just is already leaning fully into this Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed stuff. I do like that a lot. I really like seeing Braun Breaker with that championship belt. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. We talked about it in our live stream tonight. He kind of didn't have the mic by his face when he was talking during this promo, and we had a promo later on that you can't really hear him, so it does feel like he still needs that work out in front of a crowd. So maybe too soon to put that belt on him, but just from championship looks, man, looks damn good. But most importantly, I'm glad that we acknowledged the Seth Rollins stuff and had a solution for it tonight. It was like we go right to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best case scenario with what you're kind of dealt there, and then, like you said, he probably needs a little bit more time, but you can kind of slowly progress that. I am curious to see if, like, this is just my own head talking, like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were kind of equals at one point, and now Braun Breaker's getting elevated. Does Bronson Reed ever, I mean, this is way down the line, right? But does he ever get upset? Does he ever get pissed? Like, oh, I know I'm talked about as well in the future, but it's Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker. Does Bronson Reed ever get mad at one point, you know?
Definitely stories to be told down the line, right? Because we all thought that the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins split would eventually happen, but now you could kind of do that down the road, give Braun the belt, and then have Bronson Reed do the same thing. So stories to be told. We would have a tag team title match, AJ Styles with Dragon Lee taking on Finn and JD, but before the match, we would go backstage to Judgment Day preparing when Dom walked in and Finn and JD didn't want to see him because technically this match has been scheduled because Dom walked up to Adam Pearce last week and claimed he was the only champion working on Raw. They're pissed. They walk to the ring, but Roxanne does walk up to Dom and say, don't blame yourself, Dom. She's on his side with this whole thing, and Raquel walks up and is like, hey, stop it, you two. Stop it.
I mean, it is kind of crazy that you do think about it. Dom is the only one defending his title.
Yeah.
Tag titles haven't been defended in forever. Becky Lynch defends her title tonight. Stephanie's on the show. A great episode of Raw thanks to Dom.
Yeah. Thank you, Dom. We would get a great match, though. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. The team of AJ Lee. Yeah, the team of AJ Lee versus Finn and JD. Of course, Judgment Day is going to start cheating right away, right? They pull the rope while AJ is running the ropes, and they jump out on him, which is absolutely great. Eventually, Finn does rake the eyes of AJ, which causes confusion as to who's legal in the ring for a minute there, which I thought was going to kind of end the match and make it a iffy win, but no, AJ Styles still gets the phenomenal forearm, but JD breaks that pin up. Eventually, though, they would have JD hit the moonsault, followed by a coup de grace on AJ Styles when Dragon Lee jumps over JD to break the pin up on them, which is really, really cool. And then you have this little back and forth where Finn is trying to do a Styles clash on AJ Styles, but then AJ Styles rolls out of it into his own Styles clash on Finn Balor. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeat JD and Finn Balor to become the new tag team champions. And AJ Styles championship in 2025, I'm all for it. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's AJ Styles with the championship. You just said it. What more could you really ask for? We also talked about Dragon Lee kind of getting some more shine. So you know what? Yeah, sure. Why not? Just give them the tag titles. Hopefully they're defended more than Judgment Day defended them. I mean, it's hard to defend them any less. I guess a bad sign when they did come out in the Battle Royal. They didn't have the tag titles, but I'm going to let that go here. This is just a fun tag team where you have just two superstars kind of thrown together. And yeah, some people might not like that. I think it works for the storyline of Finn Balor, JD losing the titles because of Dom not really being there to help or anything. So I'm popping this one all around.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it because we never freaking see them defend their titles no matter what. We don't see them on TV. There should be more justice for Finn Balor and JD. Like, I wanted to see them more. I think they should be booked more to be out there if you're going to be tag team champions once every few months, right? But you know what? We can reset it again. Give it to AJ Styles, who people have been clamoring to see have another title for a long time. Dragon Lee deserves more shine on TV. This is a tag team that I expect to just be thrown out there weekly against kind of whoever they can throw at them. So I'm happy for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, maybe a New Day match coming up.
Yeah.
Why not?
We would have the Usos backstage, and Jey came and apologized for last week's whole fiasco with Jim because he got involved in the Jim and Bronson Reed stuff when Jim told him not to. And Jim kind of yells at him about Roman because, he still thinks that Jay's doing everything with Roman's bidding, basically. He wants to follow Roman when he should just be worried about Jey. And Jey kind of says, you're right. So tonight in the Battle Royale, they both agreed that they're going to do their thing. They're each going to try to win it, right? So they dap up at the end of it. But
yeah, I mean, Jey does have an important line here that he says, yeah, you might be right, but Roman might also be right. So you're like, okay. So there's both of them are correct here, right?
Yeah.
Like Jay's probably correct in the way he's thinking, but Jimmy's also correct in calling him out.
Which obviously this becomes important in the Battle Royale later. But just know that they both agreed that they're going to do the best for themselves.
That's what they said.
Yeah, so they're both, day one is by themselves. We get the IC Championship match. Dirty Dom. Rusev. Boosev. How about that? Dom would attack before the match. Suicide dive directly into Rusev. So he's ready for it. He threw Rusev into the steel steps to try to injure that shoulder, but Rusev just still kind of beats the crap out of Dom for 90% of this match. But the end was good because Rusev tries to lock the Accolade onto Dirty Dom. Dom, too quick, he scatters away through the legs, goes outside and grabs that belt, but Penta's there. So Penta's he's already there. Rusev now throws them both over the barricade, hits them both over the barricade. And while all this is happening, you do see Dom go find that hammer, that ring bell hammer that he got from last time. And he gets his way back into the ring. Rusev is still held up with the Penta stuff. Dom puts the hammer in his boot again, just like he did last week. And then he tries to get a 619 on Rusev, but Rusev says no anyways, which was a little annoying. And he catches Dom's boot and even pulls the hammer out of his boot. But when he does that, Rusev tries to use the hammer on Dom, which was kind of dumb. You would have lost the IC title right there. But the ref stops him. And while the ref is taking that hammer away from Rusev, Rusev's like, give me the hammer back. Dom kicks Rusev right in the nuts again. Hits the 619. 1, 2, 3. Dom beats Rusev, remains champion. Penta after the match does get involved with Rusev, so it's looking like we are leading to that triple threat match. But Dom retains. I'm happy. I'm popping it.
Yeah, we might not even be leading to a triple threat. We might have just done the most perfect, hey, we're going to get Dom away from Rusev and Rusev and Penta can go fight over there away from the title. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, this match is a classic Dirty Dom Guerrero match, if anything, right? Rusev's there. He's just the victim, so it is what it is. A nice frog splash at the end, too. 1, 2, 3. Dom retains. Looks like maybe John Cena is on the horizon for Dirty Dom. That would be cool. I really hope this is kind of just a separator. Like I said, I don't want to see the triple threat. I'm not really excited about that, mostly because of the Rusev stuff, and we're maybe not bought in. If it was maybe just a Penta Dom, you could sign me up, but yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not happy about it being a triple threat if we are leaning that way. I'd much rather just get Rusev out of it. Sorry to be a hater about it. He just hasn't won me over very much at all. I would love to see Dom and Penta wrestle 50 times in my lifetime. I mean, I love it every single time. I think Penta deserves to be in the IC title scene. But yeah, at the end of the day, Dom just winning in these ways where he's pulling out hammers from nowhere and kicking people in the nuts. It's like, this is exactly what we want for Dirty Dom. We say it weekly. Have him win this way every single time. I'm happy for
And the crowd was loving Dirty Dom.
He cut a promo beforehand, like a kind of a face promo.
Well, he tried to cut one.
Yeah.
The cheers were so deafening that he really couldn't talk.
I can't blame him. Mm-hmm. Women's Intercontinental title match. Should have been Maxine's night. Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch.
Sacramento's own.
Her family was in the front row. We thought, you and I thought, that maybe we could get an AJ Lee return during this match and get Maxine the belt for like 1 week. Becky would get it back the next week.
Or there were reports that Nikki Bella was going to come out sometime tonight. So like maybe Nikki Bella.
Something. But Becky had this LeBron Game 6 Celtics look in her eye. Yeah. She was pissed off because of the vision stuff that happened, obviously, with her
45?
husband.
That's like 45, I think.
Yeah, that was a big game. But she looked ready for business, and they booked her that way. She was beating the hell out of Maxine for a lot of this. She even threw Maxine out over the barricade right away. She walked up and was talking smack to Maxine's parents. Maxine would get a little bit of a comeback here, though. She hit this step-up leg drop, and then she hit a high knee, got the 1-2 ooh. She got some ankle locks in. Stuff was getting a lot of fun. Eventually, Becky went outside, though, pulled a Dirty Dom, copying the GOAT. I guess you can't hate on her for that. But she takes that belt and she wants to leave. But obviously, Maxine's like, no, I want to win that thing, so she can't leave. Maxine goes out there, chases her back to the inside of the ring. And then all hell's breaking loose because Becky's trying to hit Maxine with the belt. And then the ref's there, who's Jessica Carr. And so everything gets all jumbled up in the rope areas, basically. But eventually, Becky does get that belt and smack Maxine with it. Ding, ding, right? So Maxine wins the match, but champion's advantage. Becky Lynch gets to keep it. After the match, Becky does get a beatdown on Maxine. She exposes her knee and does like a running knee to Maxine and also hits a manhandle slam, but no one there to help. So Becky Lynch defeats Maxine. The dream's over for our predictions. I think it was kind of a dud at the end of the day, not just because Maxine didn't win, but there was an attack and no one came to save her, and it felt like we were leading to something big, and then kind of nothing happened. So I'm giving it a drop. Sorry.
Yeah, the match itself, I don't know, there was an energy about it, and it felt like it was building up to something, and then, like you said, just kind of whack was kind of what I got out of it. You look at it, and it's like, okay, maybe Maxine gets a rematch. Hopefully, that's kind of what we're hoping for, at least here. Maybe the dream can still happen, but the main takeaway here is Becky Lynch and Jessica Carr again, which is a kind of an interesting spot, I guess, to have a wrestler being upset with the official time and time again. How does that come into play? Maybe Jessica Carr ends up costing Becky Lynch the title for a short time. Who really knows? But yeah, we had kind of built this up in our head, and that's probably our own fault, our own admission here. But it was a fun match. Like Maxine got more offense in. She looked good again. And then we'll see what's next, I guess, for Becky Lynch.
Yeah, no more to add. It was us building it up in our head, but also the match. I mean, her parents were there, and they were in her hometown, Sacramento, and she got the comeback, and everything was looking good. And then the shenanigans at the end. I'm fine with Becky Lynch winning here. That works. You know, I wanted Maxine to win, but Becky Lynch wins. But it was the stuff afterward, the attack. I mean, she pulls the knee down, and she really like attacks. And
it was a weird beatdown.
Yeah, you don't get Otis and Tozawa. You don't get the Alpha Babes coming out to like at least be there and console her. You don't get you don't get a Natty coming out who's been notoriously Maxine's best friend backstage. You don't get anything. So it just felt like we were building and building and building. And then nothing happened. Becky just cheats and gets the win by losing, and you move on. So it's just like, okay, well.
Yeah, maybe the story's not over here. Maybe there's more. Maybe this first chapter, second chapter.
Maybe the first chapter. Agreed. Kabuki Warriors did have a little bit of promo, and they basically, what was big here was Asuka said she was happy with Kairi because Kairi came with the kendo stick and saved her last week, and I guess that proved to Asuka that Kairi's ready. So yes, they want to continue going after Io and Rhea, but it looks like the Kabuki Warriors are looking for tag team gold because they mentioned it in their promo this week. Not only do they want to finish off Rhea and Io, but it's time to go for the gold. They said the Kabuki Warriors are officially back. I'm ready for that, man. Send them after the titles. Popping that.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I'm sure most people probably know already. Rhea Ripley does have a broken nose that happened during the live show. So this is kind of a nice way that if it is a true kind of pivot, right, this is perfect. I mean, you have Asuka saying, well, Kairi, you proved your loyalty to me. And then Kairi even spoke up like, yeah, basically we're coming for you guys. And it's nice to get that from Kairi. That was my main takeaway. Like, okay, Kairi's ready. She's ready to go and kind of unleash this built up fury and anger that she has. Like you said, they're coming for those tag titles. And that's nice because you can move them over and have them feud with Charlotte and Alexa on SmackDown or really kind of however they want to do it. But that's just something I need to see. I think we all kind of penciled in, hey, Kabuki Warriors for the tag titles, but we thought that's way further down the line. Let them get through everything first. But this might be a nice little pit stop on the way to Survivor Series.
Yeah, I would absolutely love this. I have no doubt that it's going to be phenomenal. And then you're right. It's one of those things where we've all been talking about how, well, if the Kabukiers are back and they're in this heel form, they got to eventually win the tag team titles, but like how the hell do you get there? Because Charlotte and Alexa are strictly on SmackDown. They've kind of been doing their stuff with Zaruka and stuff like that. It feels so separate. Well, if Rhea's injured and you're going to need a few weeks, you could just throw the Kabuki Warriors right over there to SmackDown, insert themselves in there. Maybe a Saturday night main event match of some sort or something. I'd be 100% down from it just in terms of Asuka, Kairi versus Charlotte and Alexa, the heel team versus them. This would be great, man. Do it ASAP. I'm down for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you even look at it from that side of things. SmackDown needs the help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then if you want to break up Charlotte and Alexa, have maybe an Alexa turn. Alexa can go after Tiffany potentially, like we thought, maybe if Bianca's not fully ready. So like there's a lot of dominoes that they can kind of fall with this one little move.
There'd be symmetries as well. A family that just got broken but found themselves with Kairi and Asuka goes over and breaks up the family of Charlotte and Alexa, who are just, there would be nice little symmetry there. Paul Heyman goes back to talk to Adam Pearce. And Pearce is stressed because he just had to change a graphic. And Paul Heyman's like, oh, you had to change a graphic. What does that even mean? And Adam Pearce says, I took Braun and Bronson off the Battle Royale graphic because they are not on it. And Paul Heyman's like, what the hell do you mean? And Adam Pearce is like, say please, and I might let them back on. And Paul Heyman swallows his pride and does say, please, would you put them back on the graphic? And Adam Pearce says, no, they are off. They are not in the Battle Royale match, slams the door on Paul. And then Becky Lynch walks up, and because she's obviously pissed at Paul Heyman for what's happening here. And Paul does explain how it wasn't his idea, right? The whole Vision turning on Seth thing was not his idea. He even talks about how he was on his knees telling the Vision to stop or Braun to stop, which he was doing that. And he does say, and he does mention that the Vision can still include Becky Lynch. You could live both good lives. You still have your hot husband at home, but you can also have the Vision at work. So that'd be nice.
Adorable oracle
to her. And Becky grabs him by the tie, pulls him close, and she's pissed off. And she says that Seth knew he would eventually turn because Paul Heyman is scum basically. She tells Paul that when Seth eventually gets back, he will not be coming for Paul Heyman, but he will destroy and kill whatever person Paul Heyman is backing at that point in time. So gives us a little look into the future, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of had to be. I mean, you had to have some sort of segment, some sort of acknowledgement, right? And I thought this was really good here. You get an intense Becky Lynch here. Kind of like a pleading Paul at first. Like, I don't know. The very beginning I got was like, that's scumbag Paul. He always tries to win everybody over. And Becky's not falling for it. She says she's not falling for it. So, yeah, whatever Nepo baby, she says, Paul Heyman is attached to. He's going to kill that person. And you're going to wish that it was you instead. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm here for that.
Yeah, I mean, you just did. Becky's been involved with the Vision stuff as of late. So you can't just have Becky Lynch, who is so good at her character, not acknowledge this. This is a good way to acknowledge it. Set the table for the future.
Yeah, and you don't need anything else after this.
No, you don't. Stephanie Vicaire taking on Roxanne Perez. This was good stuff, man. As who was it? Who said it? Joe Tessitore. As Tessitore said, dueling banjos. That's how good they were in this match. Technical wrestling galore is what I put. It was absolutely great. Eventually, Roxanne, she's with Raquel, right? So Roxanne grabs the apron, distracts the ref. Raquel gets involved. Roxanne gets a lot of offense in, right? That's just what happens. We would get a devil's kiss, of course. And what did Joe Tessitore say?
Smoocheroo Stephanie.
Smoocheroo Stephanie. That's what he said during the devil's kiss. So do with that as you may.
He was excited. He was all over it tonight.
Yeah. Eventually, shenanigans would break loose, and of course, Rox and Raquel were trying their best to screw over Stephanie. But eventually, Steph does do a top rope dive to both of them, take them both out. That gives her enough time to hit the angel wing onto Roxanne and hit the 1, 2, 3. She wins, but of course, that means Raquel needs to get back involved because Steph laid hands on her, and Raquel attacks Miss Stephanie Vicaire. All hell is going down for Steph when you can look, but you can't touch. Nailed it. That's exactly what it sounds like. Nikki Bella's here, best friend of Steph.
She says.
Best friend. She runs out. She tries to take out Roxanne and Raquel, but Roxanne and Raquel do get a little bit of an advantage. Steph does end up helping, though. She hits a springboard, but she comes down ugly, and she was kind of limping on that knee afterward, which really kind of took away from the moment, because as much as I even love Nikki, I was sitting there like, whoa. Steph looks actually banged up after that fall. But Nikki and Steph do end up getting the best of them, and they wander off. After this, Nikki does say that basically I got your back. So if this continues up, I'll be there for you. So Nikki Bella makes her triumphant return to help Stephanie Vicaire take out Roxanne and Raquel. I'm a big fan of it. I guess this tag team action, maybe what's next for Stephanie Vicaire? Popping it. Yeah. It was good stuff.
I'm going to pop the match itself. I thought the match was good. I thought, it's Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vicaire. What more really kind of needs to be said? This is a match that years and years down the line we're going to kind of keep getting, and hopefully we get a nice long feud. I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon, but in the future, hopefully, let's get that. Sign me up for that. The return, it is what it is. I'm probably a little bit lower on it than you, but you got to have somebody at least on Stephanie's side from the thing of, hey, these two keep attacking me. You got to have the numbers game. Nikki Bella's not doing anything right. Rumor is potential war game stuff too, so you kind of got to start building those teams up here. So all in all, it's fine. You don't really have anything for her to do. So the people that might be upset about it, what else would you want? Or who else would you want in that spot would be my thing. There's really nobody else that can kind of side with Stephanie. So
yeah, you need some backup in her corner if you're going to be dealing with Raquel and Roxanne, because you can't just have Steph walk out there and beat up two of them every single week. That'd make them both look weak. So what do? You have them get the best of her. Nikki's now in her corner. We can do the tag action, and then that can eventually lead to a one-on-one, probably against Roxanne for that title down the line in some way, shape, or form. I love it. We have seen Nikki and Stephanie interact before, so it makes sense overall. And then you always have, what I'm already looking forward to. I would love for a Nikki heel turn down the line if you wanted to, and have a Nikki Steph with a proper Nikki heel, not just like buddy, respectful championship match. I would like for them to go that route. So I think it opens up a lot of branching paths. So I'll give it a chance. I like it.
Yeah, and like I said, you got to start building up those war games if that's the route we're going to go.
Yeah.
So like an Io, Rhea, Stephanie, AJ, Nikki versus, I don't know if they have the Kabuki Warriors in there, but maybe Kabuki Warriors and Judgment Day and Becky or something.
There you go.
Who knows at this point?
We got a little bit of Lyra and Bailey tonight. Bailey has a present for Lyra next week.
Yep.
We'll see. And then Paul Heyman does go break the news to Braun and Bronson, and he goes, and they kind of are like, what do we do now? Which I did not like. I didn't like how Braun kind of looked at Paul and was like, well, what now then? It's like, it feels like Braun should have just stepped up and made a decision or done something big. But anyway, Paul basically talks them into the long game. He mentions how he took Brock Lesnar in 2002, a guy who didn't know what to do and could have destroyed the entire locker room. He made him wait and eventually became, what we know as Brock Lesnar today. He says the same thing about CM Punk, how CM Punk was he caused anarchy in the backstage area, but he went to Paul and eventually Paul could politic his way and get him to the top. So Paul was basically like, hey man, chill, ride the coats. We'll get there through force and through politics. Just give it time.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have too much of an issue with Braun saying that. I kind of wonder if he's just like asking Paul what Paul thinks. And then it seems to me at the end of it, him and Bronson both just disregarded anyway. So like, okay, I'll listen to you, old man, is kind of the vibe that I got. Like, you've been here before, but at the same time, like, whatever you say, I don't really care about. I'm just going to use you basically to polish my skills and get to the top is how I think that's going to end up working out.
Yeah, I just think Braun at the beginning of the night, like when he talked to Pierce, it felt like Braun was just like he was making decisions and he had his foot down on stuff and he wasn't really scared of anything. And when Paul walked in and told them the news and Braun was kind of just like, well, now what, Paul? I kind of wanted him to just be like, screw this, I'm going out there anyways type deal. But
yeah, and you got a word salad from Paul that Braun and Bronson, I don't think either one of them bought it, right?
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, all right, whatever. So we thought in our heads, hey, this main event, this Battle Royal is about to happen. They're surely going to make an appearance here.
We'll get to that. Number one contender Battle Royale. I don't know who was in it. Ton of people were in it, right? You had your LA Knights, your Jay, your Jimmy, your Otis, your Americano, your AJ Styles, your Dom, your Finn, your JD, everybody. Ivar, not Eric.
Did you say Sheamus?
Jameis. Mm-hmm. Grayson Waller. Kofi Kingston. Anybody else?
Penta. I'm sure there is.
Rusev.
He's like,
damn it. Keep going.
We're naming the whole thing.
Anyway, there's a bunch of people here. I'm not going to go through every one of them. No, I did not say JD. Yeah, but big things that happened throughout the match. Dom did eliminate Penta and Rusev. So that leads more into the triple threat if we do want to go that way.
That is right. Damn it.
Sheamus didn't do much here, but he did hit a really cool white noise on Ivar on the apron, which got him eliminated. That was a hell of a bump. Had to include it. And then we would get some good stuff here. So JD and Finn end up saving Dom from Sheamus. And Dom's very thankful, but obviously Sheamus doesn't like that. He starts to fight JD and Finn as well. Well, Sheamus ends up eliminating JD and Finn while Dom just literally lays on his ass and watches. He's literally laying down like, oh no, what's happening to my friend?
He looks like, man, that looks like it hurts.
Yeah. I mean, Sheamus is beating him up. And AJ eliminates Dom. So there's that. But then, of course, we get to the end here. And Jim, Jay, LA Knight, and AJ Styles are the final four here.
That's wrong.
No?
Dirty Dom's in the final four.
Oh, Dirty Dom. Who did I say?
AJ.
Eliminate AJ. He's out of there.
Because Dom, you missed the best part of the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dom gets eliminated, but the refs don't see that. They're tending to, I think it's Sheamus on the ramp.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
They're walking to Sheamus. They're all over there. Dom gets thrown out. Dom slides back in.
Yeah, so Dom has been eliminated already, allegedly, but he's in the top four now. Yeah, I did forget about that. Thanks for bringing that up. We would have them then, and Jim saves Jay from LA Knight because LA Knight was about to get the man. Well, Jim and LA Knight start fighting, and they end up in this like weird cocoon together.
They're like straddling the top rope somehow. I don't know how they're doing that.
Well, Jay does what he does. He runs over there and he eliminates both of them. He did tell Jim earlier in the night, hey, they're going to do their thing. So that leaves Jay and Dom, and the crowd's going nuts because Dom's stalking his prey like he turned into Randy Orton, and the crowd's on their feet.
It's almost like Santino, Alberto Del Rio. I mean, obviously that's a Royal Rumble, but that's the feel I'm getting here.
Dom looked like he was gonna go get it if I can talk. Mm-hmm. But then his dumbass, he kicks Jay into the ropes for a 619. That ain't gonna eliminate him. But he goes for the 619. Jay, of course, pops up and launches Dom over that top rope. Jey Uso wins the Battle Royale. He will go on to face CM Punk at Saturday Night Main Event for that world title. Did they make the right choice? I'll go ahead. I'm going to drop it. I was actually a little bit underwhelmed by the ending here. No Braun Breaker, no Bronson Reed. That felt like no payoff to the story that was being told throughout the night. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I'm actually going to go ahead and drop this.
Yeah. This might be our first ever stop. I don't know. I'm in the middle. I don't know what to really think of it. You look at it, and at least Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, the storyline, right? About I'm going to do me. Well, we're here for each other. But then Jimmy also says, well, I'm every man for themselves tonight. But then Jimmy gets mad and you're like, well, wait a second, Jimmy, you said you were doing everything you could earlier too. So I can't really fault Jey there. I do like the storyline aspect of Jey kind of just stepping over Jimmy and pretty much just like doing whatever he can to really kind of look out selfishly for himself. I really do enjoy that stuff. I did expect some sort of Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, some sort of Vision interaction. I mean, they start and end every show. That's what they do. They're the Vision. So maybe next week we get something with that. Maybe LA Knight could have been something. Maybe an LA Knight CM Punk at Saturday Night Main Event. But like I said, we got a whole week left to where I'm really kind of holding out hope we get something there, some sort of interaction, and maybe we wait and see until next week.
Yeah, you know what? It's just one of those things where, like, it felt like another moment where with Jey in the Royal Rumble, where John Cena was behind him, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be John Cena. And it felt the same way with Dom. I was like, oh, there's no way Dom's going to win. But, like, when the moment was there, I was like, oh, Dirty Dom winning this thing would be absolutely insane. I don't know. We have to do what we have to do now with the Seth Rollins injury, right? We have to fill that gap. They're not just going to rewrite absolutely everything, I guess, and just say, oh, Braun's now your champion. We have time to see, but I don't think that that's what they're going to do. Jey Uso, CM Punk, two of your biggest guys, right? Two of your most over guys in all of WWE. Throw them at each other for the world title at Saturday Night Main Event. I see what they're doing there. But to me personally, I would have probably liked an LA Knight or maybe some shenanigans, get Braun in there. But we'll take what we get. Jey versus Punk.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see because obviously the Jimmy Jey stuff is far from over. And I find it kind of hard to believe that Jey's going to win the title while Jimmy's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's hanging out in the background. Also, like you said, Braun Breaker's not going to go quietly about this, right? He was going to feel like he got screwed out of a chance, right? So for some reason, some way, I don't think this is going to be the official. I know they put the graphic up, and I understand people are going to say, well, they put the graphic up. I get that. I don't think that's going to be the match.
I was just about to ask that. I mean, Jey and Punk is now the scheduled match at Saturday Night Main Event, but it feels like somehow, some way, Braun Breaker's going to sneak in there. Do we think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think Braun Breaker is going to somehow, some way, whether it's a triple threat or maybe he takes out a Jey Uso or something like that. I think Braun Breaker, he said he enjoys hurting people. Bronson Reed said he likes to hurt people. Well, they have a history of hurting Roman Reigns. They have a history of hurting Jey Uso. Well, if Jey Uso tends to be a lot like Roman Reigns, well, they already took out Roman Reigns once, so maybe they take out Jey Uso here and they sneak their way into that. Even against Adam Pearce, like I feel like Adam Pearce is going to do everything possible to make sure that they're not in that match, but it's just going to be like, hey, you're not denying me. I'm taking my spot.
Yeah, I hope he's in the match. I really do. Because Jey versus Punk on paper just really isn't that interesting to me. It's two super baby faces. I know we do have, like you said, the Jim stuff going on with the Roman stuff and Jey, that whole thing circulating. So maybe you do get Jey and Jim maybe coming to heads and that gets involved in some way and changes the match. I don't know, but I just think that Braun Breaker with the Vision stuff, he should be involved in a match where Seth Rollins, the leader of the Vision, was a part of. That just feels right. So one way or shape or form, he may even just go to Adam Pearce's office, take that belt from him and be like, no, I'm champion walking into the match. I have to be a part of it because you're not getting this belt off me. So that may be how they do it. But yeah, I think Braun Breaker's going to find his way in there. Yeah.
I think him saying he likes to hurt people and them already attacking, like they just continue to kind of put people out. So plus it almost feels like I understand the Jey stuff. Hey, it's just me. I'm going to do what I want to do to try to get that title back. I get that. And I like that storyline, but to me, for Jey Uso already fighting and already kind of almost maybe capturing one, I'm like, that seems to be almost a little too soon for me to kind of buy into that.
I agree. We give this episode of Raw 8 pops, 2 for drop. So pretty good episode of Raw. I mean, match after match after match after match. That's great stuff. This was really great stuff from in-ring perspective. So good wrestling episode of Monday Night Raw. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for stopping by our live stream once again. YouTube.com/COD WrestlePod for Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. And then for everything else at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It'll literally take you to all of our social medias and our Discord if you want to come join our Discord. We don't plug that enough, but go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff because we think that you'll love that type of content. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.